Welcome to Dugout Therapy, a baseball podcast about the mental game built by coach greats. If you're looking to succeed both on and off the field, this is the place for you.
Let's roll.
Hey guys, welcome to Dugout Therapy. Got a really cool episode here today. Here with my co-host Quinn, and I'm your host Dave Wodzis. Quinn, how you doing, man?
I am doing fine. You know, I'm watching these Yankees, and you know my eyes are glistening. I'm
yeah, you like that we're losing. I get it.
Take it to Houston.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's introduce our guest here. I have on the line Trey Hannam, hitting development trainer, I guess you could kind of say. Really excited to chat with you today, Trey. Thanks for being on.
What's up, guys? No, I really appreciate it. After talking to you guys in the intro for about 5 to 10 minutes, you guys seem really fun. So I'm excited to get started.
Awesome. Yeah, we try to keep it lively, and yeah, we'll keep it very conversational. So
I'm glad we passed the audition.
No, what passed the audition was I just want to tell the viewers what happened very first thing when we met. Never talked before. I log in and everyone's like, hello. I'm like, hey, it's just like your mom just left for work and you finally got on Halo again.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the chat room.
Back on live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wish things were simpler, but technology likes to be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, it happens. You can only have so much good in your life.
I like that. Really happy to have you here, Trey. You know, been a close follower of your, Twitter for a while. I think you're definitely one of my favorite hitting guys out there right now.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think your message is very clear as to breaking down very technical things. So the way I was coached when I was younger is, is completely different from, how, a swing is actually operating. And, coaches now I think are really striving to grasp what they're supposed to be teaching and how to break down these very technical things. And I think you do a really good job of making it understandable.
Yeah.
So that's what I've loved about your profile and kind of your message. So yeah, super excited to chat. And I guess before we get underway here, could you kind of give a little bit of background to, your baseball story for the listeners?
No, for sure. No, I really appreciate the kind words. I really I think that's very important, especially when you're teaching. I try to be a teacher instead of a coach all the time. Sometimes when you're a coach, you're a little bit too hard on them. When you're a teacher, you can really explain and they can really grasp things a lot quicker instead of always screaming and yelling and always trying to be hard. So, small town kid, small high school. I was very successful in high school. Went to junior college. Very first year I struggled because when you go from high school to college, now you're not the man anymore. Now you got 20 other dudes who are the man at their high school too. So I struggled my first year. Wasn't a great spot for me to be in. I transferred to another junior college, closer to my hometown, not quite home, but about an hour away, where I actually really wanted to go out of high school. So I went there. Lifting coach that was our head coach, and he was a big get your stuff done, no excuses, get the job done, whatever you can do, hard workouts, get stronger mentally, physically. I think that's really where I took off. I was always trying to be the hardest worker. I didn't really go out at night. I never really went to the bars, whatever. I hung out with friends, but I always just wanted to lift and hit no matter what. Lift, hit, eat well. Hung out with my girlfriend, hung out with my family, whatever. So had really good years there. I was really successful. But when I was choosing colleges, I wanted to make sure I did not want to make the mistake of trying to go Division I for the brand name. I have a lot of buddies, a lot of teammates who I played with who went to big name Division Is and actually never saw the field, and they just get lost and you start to fall behind. I wanted to go somewhere where I could still stand out. So I went to a Division II, nationally ranked Division II, Illinois Springfield. I was a 3-4 hitter, played left field. I could really hit, run a little bit. I was always trying to lift heavy, so my power just kept going up and up. After that, I was on the brink of getting drafted, put a little bit too much pressure on myself. I think that happens to a lot of guys, overthinking a little bit too much, trying to do too much outside of your own game a little bit. So I was mad at myself for that. I'm not mad at any scouts. I'm mad at myself. I need to play better. So I went down to Puerto Rico, played 2 years professionally down in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
I was learning some of the teachings that I'm teaching now, and a lot of the guys were like, "Damn, that's really weird." Then you see it in the game, and they're like, "Well, I want that weird stuff in my practice too." But it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of mirror and dry hacks. A lot of understanding to actually do it. Instead of, it's not a magic pill. It's not a fix. You actually have to feel it. And I think what's the biggest factor for me when I'm teaching athletes is to break something that you've done your whole life in order to actually fix it quicker and quicker than the normal timetable of like a month. You have to really exaggerate the opposite feeling. So if you're constantly chopping down and you're trying to get the feeling of actually swinging behind it and actually be level with the ball instead of straight down, you have to get the feeling of getting way back there and almost thinking uppercut, but that feeling in your swing will actually be level instead of uppercut, because everyone knows when you move just a little bit different, like an inch in your swing, even with like your handset, it literally feels like you're moving a foot. But you look at video and you're like, that's barely changing, but it makes a whole career changing difference just because you're trying to focus on something else. So you have to be extreme in your teachings, but obviously as time goes on, you can't be so extreme. You have to balance it back out. So I coached at a local high school. It was a really good high school for baseball, straight out of college. I liked it, but the head coach said, "You're way too advanced for us. You need to go to a higher level." So I went to Western Illinois. I was an assistant coach there. He said the exact same thing. "You're way too advanced. You need to go somewhere else. We love you here. You do really well with the athletes." I wasn't a fan of that, of what he said, but I moved on. Now I'm doing a lot of private training. 2 weeks ago, I had Jake Mangum in the facility, the all-time SEC hits leader. Him and his dad hit me up, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what is going on? I'm 24. You're 24. You're the all-time SEC hits leader." And I didn't say that to him, but like literally, "Why are you coming to me?" And he's like, "Dude, you break it down so simple. I don't go to bed wondering like, what am I supposed to be doing? I actually have a set plan and the set feels I'm supposed to have. And my progress just speeds up rapidly because I actually understand what I'm supposed to be doing instead of just guessing the whole time." So, sorry, I like to talk. So
no, this is great.
I learned from Craig Wallenbrock, Doug Latta. Those guys are both huge with the LA Dodgers right now. They do a lot of private training for them. Richard Skank in St. Louis. So those three guys, I'm trying to mesh all three. A couple of them, Latta and Skank, can be a little bit too extreme for me personally. So I'm trying to mesh those two together, and I'm trying to find a really good balance. And this summer, I meshed it all together, and I found a really good balance for the athletes. But I think the biggest thing for a coach, for a teacher, for the teacher of the swing, teacher of hitting, is say I have two different athletes. One's a freshman, one's a sophomore in college. One kid might need one totally different feel or thought in his head, and another kid might need the exact opposite. But they're at the end of the day, at the end of the 2 hours of the training, they are producing almost the exact same thing, but they have to feel something different because all athletes are different. You have to think and feel. So I talked to a hitter today, and he said, "Man, my whole life I've been trying to go up at it, and I kept on hitting pop-ups. So today I looked at your tweet, and I started thinking down more, and I kept on hitting line drives." I said, "Dude, that's literally like the adjustments you have to make daily or literally round by round during hitting." And I said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but next week you might have to start thinking up again or more level again because you're going too far down." Like it's literally an art. Like it's so crazy. Like the technicalities and like how your body moves differently each day. You just got to find what works best for you. And if not, you got to figure out what feels and what cues work best for you when the shit hits the fan, because shit's going to hit the fan. You got to understand how your body moves and how it's got to move differently for you to get back on track quicker. So you're not going in a slump for 6 games. Now you're going in a slump for 6 at-bats. And that could save your career. If you go in a slump for 6 games in minor leagues, you might be cut if you're 26. So I think you just got to show the athletes and teach them how to get out of slumps quicker, how to stay hot more often, because they understand what they're doing. When they have a bad swing, have a bad bat, they understand how to produce it again instead of just guessing and just throwing their hands at it and going 0 for 4 and going home all pissed off. So they have an understanding and they feel great about it. And when they are done with pro ball, when they are done with college ball, they can go teach it because they actually have the understanding. And so you got A-Rod up there on MLB TV telling everyone to chop down. I posted that on Instagram Live on Instagram story today. He said, how are the Rays going to hit Garrett Cole? He said, you're going to chop that wood.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And but I'm not going to say anything. He's dating J-Lo. He's winning. He's winning at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the end of the week.
He's definitely one of those guys that just went out and did it, though. Like you
look at his swing. Yeah.
Like
it's the exact opposite.
It's the exact opposite. Yeah. So I mean, what you're saying here right now is super powerful. I think a lot of different hitters are, every hitter is different. So like me personally, through my college career, like I came in way too steep for half of my career in college, and it took me maybe a full year of working on it. Kind of this constant pinball game of, okay, I'm working in too steep. Now I'm coming in too shallow, like back and forth until I could kind of find that happy medium. Yeah. Where I was getting more balls in the air. It took me my whole college career until I was like at the end where I've actually felt comfortable with my swing.
And like, damn, I don't have any more years to play. I just figured it out.
Yeah. It's literally a shame that I honestly wasn't thinking about those things like early enough. Like I would suggest kids to be thinking about this like beginning of high school, like start like as soon as they can really get in touch with themselves as a player, like you're talking about. I look back on my career and I'm like, wow, if I just had started thinking about these things or working on these
100%.
Because everyone thinks their swing is fine.
Until they start moving up the levels and they're like, shit, that ain't fine. I grew up always trying to hit the L screen. But I was at the bottom of the L screen, not the top of it. There's a big difference. When you go on a field and you hit the bottom of the L screen, that's one hopper to the pitcher, one hopper to the second, to the second baseman. You got to hit the top of the L screen and get line drives at the infield. And when you do that for 100 times every day, your swing's going to end up leveling out instead of a little bit downward. But you know what I mean. When you start moving up the levels, you figure out that it's not always so easy anymore. You got to figure out how to get better.
For sure. Yeah. So, I mean, would you kind of say your passion for like hitting and development kind of started when you went down in, obviously college, but when you kind of went down to Puerto Rico, started, working with some high level guys, is that kind of when, this passion really developed?
I would say my senior year of college. I was taught at JUCO, whatever, chop down. And the coach, he's not there anymore. The head coach I love, but the assistant coach is like, chop down. And he's like, Trey, you can't hit home runs. Well, I just hit 4 this week, so I think I can hit home runs. He's like, no, you just got to chop down more. We need more backspin line drives. It's like, all right, I'll try. So my senior year, I really dug deep into all the information on Twitter. Sometimes a little bit too deep. I wouldn't go to bed till like 2 or 3 a.m. because I would literally jump up out of my bed. I tweeted this the other day. Jump up out of my bed, grab a freaking broomstick and try to get some like hip coil feels or like learn how to grab my scap a little bit better. So I really take pride in doing that now to athletes who are asking me. A lot of people who I talk to, who else have you reached out to, blah, blah, blah. And they tell me, I'm like, what did they say? They never respond. I'm like, you have time throughout the day to respond to hitters who actually need help. And I really take that personal if I don't respond to someone who's actually asked for help, because I want to be where I am right now if people didn't respond to me. So I think that's very important for the coaches, that people actually look up to you, even just a little bit. They're following you. They like all your stuff. They really want to hear what you have to say. Give them the time of day to respond. It really means the world to them. Yeah.
I mean, for me, the way I see it, the coaches that have that mindset that they want to give back in that way, they're doing it for the right reasons. And I think those are the coaches that we're looking to get involved in our community as a brand. So I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, those are the coaches that care, like ultimately, what that player is going to think of them as a coach, like 5-10 years down the road when they realize, all the things they've learned or were taught by them. And they're not just better on the field, but they're better off the field from that coach. So I think that's super powerful.
Better people. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm on your website. I see the half bat. How
Let's
in
go.
the world did you come up with this? It looks like an oar.
Looks like a canoe paddle.
Yeah.
So actually today was a big day. I actually woke up to a phone call. Houston Astros hitting coordinator.
Oh.
They want to order 2 for every level they have in their organization. I said, done deal, let's do it. Let me know what colors you want. I'll hook you up. So that's a big day for me. I posted on the Instagram story. He had one of his hitters from the Astros coming into the hitting facility, and he was using it. He's like, "Who the hell is that?" And he's like, "Yeah, this kid on Instagram. He sells them now." He's like, "Hey, let me get his number," because I asked him. I said, "Hey, I don't want to be nosy or anything, but how did you find out about half bats?" He said, "One of my hitters came in the facility. I loved it. We were trying to hit with those all year, but they were broken bats, but they kept on breaking in the middle. Now you actually have it solidified where it's not going to break. Hit tennis balls, wiffle balls, whatever." He wouldn't actually tell me how they're training it, which is fine. I think I know, but that's very exciting. Hopefully I can get more and more. Seattle Mariners coach today, he's getting some. So I'm excited. Hopefully we can get it all 32 teams. So half bats. So I was at a facility in Pennsylvania, and they made half bats. It's called Player Development Systems, PDS. And they made, 50 or 60. And they sold out immediately. But they didn't sell them again. And I was like, dude, this is my favorite bat. It's my favorite training tool. And people kept on asking, no, sorry, we're not selling them. We're not selling them. So I said, all right, I'm going to take the initiative. I'm going to call every bat company I can find. And the one that I was really set on was Balance Bat. It's a really good training bat. It's got a really big knob, kind of like what Barry Bonds did, but kind of more emphasized. So you can feel the knob working through the zone, working in your hands. They said, hey, I got this guy in Pennsylvania, Bonsall Bat Company. And I called him. He said, dude, I'm going to hook you up. Let me send you a couple, and we'll see where we can go from there. We made a couple tweaks to it. I did some colors. I did black and gray, red and blue. And I put it on pre-order for my website, and they sold out immediately. So I tweeted about it a couple times, had some people tweet about it, sold out. So there's all my money to buy for all the half bats. And by the time I get all those half bats in, I'm already sold out of my next batch, 150.
Damn.
So it's just going crazy. So I have to ship all these bats out, 150, whatever. So it's really exciting. So what we did was people were hitting with flat-sided bats, because if you hold it in your hands properly, if you chop down at it at contact, you will not have a surface to hit with. But if you go to contact and you get the flat part, you retrace your bat path back up to your handset. Then you actually swing. If you do your hand pivot properly, then you actually get a flat part to hit with every time. And the ball will tell you if you hit it flat, if you hit it flush with the flat part, or if you slice it, it'll bounce backwards. So what we did was we put a wood bat feeling handle on a bat oar, on a boat oar. So it's a flat barrel, literally cut in half. It's like a 1/4 of an inch with a wood bat feel. And people love the feeling because you have to turn it properly. If not, you slice it. The other thing is you get to hear the whoosh of the bat speed. So if the bat speed's behind the zone, that's really good. But if it's out front, in front of the desired contact point, that means you're wasting your bat speed. It needs to be in a better location behind the strike zone, behind the ball. The third point is, for me, I do a lot of training. I hate the 30-minute training. I like the hour and a half training. A lot of teaching, a lot of understanding, a lot of dry reps. So the kid's not getting tired. He's swinging a really light bat over and over. By the time we're 75% into the lesson, now he's still fresh because he's swinging a really light bat, but he's still getting all the same reps, if not better reps, because he's really energized and he gets to see if it's flush or chopped. So at the end of the lesson, now he gets to hit this real bat, and he feels the progressions that he's making with the flat bat. Now he feels awesome because now every ball he's hitting flush instead of chopping it down every once in a while. So I'm at the facility a lot. I'm at different facilities. I see a lot of kids in the lesson or the training, and their hands are bleeding after 15, 20 minutes, or they're just really tired with their body because they're swinging a heavier bat than typically what they're supposed to be. But so they're swinging that game-used bat all the time, and they just can't swing anymore. But what kids don't understand, what parents don't understand is by the time that they're actually gassed, they're not even barely warmed up yet, and they can't swing anymore. So why not give them a lighter bat so they can keep on working on their movements and keep on getting it more muscle memory so they can ingrain it faster. So
I love that.
That's my biggest thing. Even when I was hitting, I used to be tired after 30 minutes. My hands kept on hurting. Like, sorry guys, I can't hit today because my hands, I have so many blisters. It's from lifting too, but I have blisters from hitting. So let's get a lighter bat and ingrain those movements. So when you go to a game bat, now you're not so tired, your hands don't hurt, and you get those movements at the same cost as 50 swings, but you're not so tired. That's my biggest thing.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can completely relate. You know, you go to the gym, you rip your hands up, you go to the field, you take 200, 250 swings and you're
max out swing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you never get tired.
I've loved the half bat stuff since, you know, you put it out. I've been following closely. I think it's great. Like I've been doing like PVC stuff for a while, like at clinics and then with my travel team and stuff, but kind of trying to get the same thing going. And it's like, I don't know, some of our kids got it and some of them didn't. There was a good group of them that would all run to me to do PVC stuff before we got going for a good portion. And then they're having like great rounds. And I think, great. You know, I wasn't thinking about it then like that, but now that I'm hearing you say that, I'm like, okay, yeah, they had more in the tank for sure.
Yeah. And they get those same movements that they just did for 20 minutes for taking zero energy, maybe 5% energy, right? Those PVC feels that I might do with my hitters for 5 or 10 minutes during my rounds, just to feel the movements. They don't get tired, but they're getting the same progression out of it as a game bat, so they don't get tired. So I think it's definitely very smart with your training. I'm not huge in let's go hard. All right, let's be smarter about it so he's not so tired. Now when it actually matters during the machine, during BP, during angled machine, whatever, he's actually all fired up and not so tired. Now he can swing his game bat when it matters instead of the regular T drills that he needs to be working on, but not chewing up his hands.
Yeah. I felt like, at least when I was training, like I found myself taking a lot of time in between reps on the tee to make my training go longer. And it's just like, wow, looking back at it, that's just was dumb. But
now look what we got. We got some half bats. Let's do it.
Yeah. So with these half bats, like what are the different weights that you have, like for the different sizes and stuff?
So I just created a youth size. So what we got is adult size, 33-inch, 20 ounce. Youth is 30-inch, 15 ounce.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do, I wanted to stand out. Even if another company comes up with more half bats, I want to have the extra variables of, all right, we got 3 colors. Now we got 2 different sizes. Most people are only going to do 1 color and 1 size. I want to stand out. So that's my biggest thing. And people would ask me like, hey, can you just cut off like 3 inches? So I would. So, but now that I know that they're actually going to sell, and I know at what rate they're going to sell, because I can look at the website, and Shopify helps me determine what bats are selling really well, when, at what speed are they going off the shelves, whatever. And now I can order to that timeline. All right, I need 15 youth blue bats because in the next 2 weeks I'm going to promote it, and it's just going to fly off the shelves. So if you think about it, I'm actually selling to 2 different demographics instead of 1, because most people have a lot of young kids, but they can't swing the 33-inch. So they're like, I can't buy it. It's too long. Now I get the double. Now I get double production instead of just 1. So I'm trying to get more demographics, more softballs in there. I actually got LSU softball, Illinois softball, Northwestern softball. Clemson baseball, Tennessee baseball. So things are going really well. I'm just trying to get more underneath my wing so I can make sure I'm not missing out on anybody.
I gotta say, the black and gray, very sexy. Very sexy.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. So me and the halfback company came up with that, and I looked at the website today, and I had 50 available on the website about 2 weeks ago. And I looked at the website today. I said, "Hey, John, we only have 2 left."
Oh man!
So I need another order. And plus, obviously, the Astros are going to be ordering some too, so that's even more.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. It's a very good problem to have. But yeah, these boxes are just going out and out and out. So right now, I'm trying to get them in the right hands that they're going to sell. And so my biggest thing right now, I don't know if you guys know who Gary Vee is.
Yeah.
Do you guys know?
Vaynerchuk,
dude.
man.
Oh my God, dude! I listen to him every morning when I drive, every day, YouTube, podcast, whatever. So I love him. My biggest thing is I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm trying to help you, and halfbacks are going to help you train. Halfbacks are going to help you keep your energy. Halfbacks are going to help you get ready for the game. I have guys on the West Coast, Division I baseball players, UCLA, San Diego. They're using them in practice, off the machines, on deck during games because they like the feel of it. So I want you to just feel better. I want you to train better. And by doing that, the halfback is there available. I'm not one to push it. Hey, you need a halfback. You need a halfback. If you want it, then get it. But I'm just here to help. I want you to be a better baseball player. If you like it, then buy it. I don't care. I just want it to help.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, you want to be that expert, that knowledge source. That's how you attract the right people. That's what we're striving for. And that's why we're doing this podcast, put out the best, information for coaches, and ultimately you'll get the right people that are attracted to your brand. So
I agree. Yeah. I'm not a salesman. I'm a baseball teacher.
Oh yeah.
So literally.
That's what you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. I just want to give you guys a heads up. We are at about 9:30 right here left.
Shot clock. Yeah.
Wow.
So I know
we're fast.
We're having too much fun. Right?
That flew by.
Hey, how many words am I at? Do I have a limit?
No, I think you already surpassed that, and we love it, man.
Dude, it's like the opposite. When I was in school, I had dude, we should do 200 words in a paper. I only got 500. But when I talk about baseball, all right, I can do 5,000 in about an hour. Let's do it.
I feel your pain on that.
That's a good problem to have. I'll take it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so kind of moving along here, there is a couple other questions me and Quinn had for you. We've touched upon a few of them. One of them I might know the answer to, but I'll ask it anyway. Maybe outside of using the halfback, what is a favorite drill that you're kind of using right now to maybe start understanding how a player moves, or a process you're kind of going through in the beginning when you bring a hitter on to kind of learn how they move?
Good question.
Hey, we only have about 8 minutes left. I might use it all up right here. So what I do, when the hitter comes in, I usually talk to the parents, talk to the kid. All right, what's he struggle at? What's he good at? What's he practice? How's he practice? What's he thinking? Mm-hmm. Obviously, the parent typically doesn't know. The player always doesn't know, but they feel something. It might be the right thing. It might not be the right thing. So what I do is I usually have a set of 3 or 4 drills, and I say, all right, it's test time. I've never seen you hit. I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to put the ball on the tee. I'm going to toss it to you. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to toss it in 4 different locations. I'm going to give you 4 different drills. I'm going to see what you do good at, what you do good at, what you do bad at. And by doing that, I'm going to see what procedure or what drill you need to make you better. And we're going to go from there. So I look at the drills that we do. I do high tee a lot. I do low tee a lot. By doing high tee, if the hands drop, he's not going to be able to hit high tee. I do extreme high tees, so it's about mid chest. It's not a strike, but it's definitely hittable. You keep the hands up, keep the barrel up. If not, you're definitely going to hit under it. You're going to knock down the tee. Okay. Then I go to low tee. If he doesn't tilt properly, if he just wraps around the ball, if he just rotates the shoulders east and west, he cannot hit the low pitch for a line drive. He can only hit the high pitch for a line drive because his bat's already up there. But if it's a low pitch, you really got to get down there with your shoulders and go after it like Trout does. So if you don't tilt properly with your shoulders, you can't hit the low pitch for a line drive to the outfield. Okay, so that's number one. Then I do 45 degrees. So 45 degrees, you are opened up with your stance toward the pull side, foul territory. So I'm a righty. So it'd be third baseman. I'm going to line up to the third baseman like he is throwing me the ball with my shoulders and hips. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the third baseman. I'm going to coil around my rear leg. I'm going to lean over the plate with my not lean over the plate, turn around over to the chest. Now the pitcher's throwing the ball. So my lower half is facing third baseman. It's technically stepping in the bucket. Now my shoulders and my bat and hands are now facing the pitcher like he's throwing the ball. And typically you're going to try to swing through the pitcher. But if you allow your hips and your lower half to win, you pull off towards the third baseman, you're going to roll over and flare towards the opposite side dugout. So what we're going to try to tilt and stay opposite field direction through the pitcher and through the pitch plane as long as we can. By doing that, we're going to see if he pulls off or if he stays in the pitch, or if he stays on the ball longer, or if he pulls off. So that's number two. Number three, what I typically do is side toss with a fungo. And by doing that, we do choked up fungo, typically to the middle of the fungo. So it's, like a 15-inch bat now. So I have him swing. I do stop swings. So he never gets extension. He turns his hands, turns his forearms, gets to contact. Right when he hits the ball, he stops immediately, and we have him stop like a statue. We want to see where he is at contact, if he's strong with his arms, if he's loose, if he casts, if he handcuffs himself. Where's the knob? Where's the barrel? At contact, you want the knob lined up with your forearm, your lead forearm. If it's down, angled down towards your front foot or your front hip, that means you're rolling over super early and you're chopping down at it too early, and you're going to have a very inconsistent off the bat spins. So that's number three. Number four is I do a command drill. So in your swing, you want to be able to have automatic timing. Once you get to your spot, all loaded up, fully launched, the ball is 3/4 of the way there, how quick can you launch your swing? So I'm going to have the ball on the tee, different locations, whatever. I want you to get to your spot. The ball is almost over the plate. We want to see how quick you launch. When I say 1, 2, 3, go. Okay? So we want to see how quick you launch by the time I say the G and go. And a lot of kids, I show them me. They see a big difference because when I say go, there's a little bit of hesitation. They grab back for a little bit more extra launch, then they go. But when you try to launch at a fastball that's 92 or 82 when you're young, whatever, and you grab back for that little bit, now your timing is going to be off a little bit. Now you don't know when you're actually going to swing. Now you start swinging earlier. When you start swinging earlier, what does the pitcher do? Starts throwing you off speed. Now you're even more out front. Okay? So the next drill I do, all right, I'm running out of time. So the next drill I do, this is the last one. So I put the tee really deep, right down the middle, but deep, okay? And if you push forward, you run out of space. If you lunge forward, you run out of space. You can't actually hit this ball. You have to keep your eyes behind it, okay? If he hits a line drive, he stays behind it really well. Good job. Now what do I do? Now the second part of the question of the exam, this is question number 5. I put the tee out front of the plate. All right, now he's out front on a slider, changeup, whatever, maybe even a fastball. He's out front. What's he do? Does he stay through it? Does he hit a duck snort through the outfield? Or does he roll over and pull off or even miss it because he pulls off too early? We want to see how quick you can get behind the ball, deep in the zone, then stay in the zone as long as you can, not one or the other. That's number 5. So after those, I address the problems or the good things that he's going on in his or her swings. I talk to the parent. A lot of the parents can say, "Holy cow, I've never even thought about that. I want my hitter to come see you 5 times a week." But a lot of things are like super elementary, and the parents are like, "Holy cow," that the hitter just feels invincible once he figures out some of the things. And then we just go from there. Then we just keep on building up the reps with the half bats, with the PVC, with the fungos, really light reps, making sure he's not get tired in the hour and a half that we're training. So
that's a really good template.
Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate that.
How in depth that is. One, just it's like setting yourself up to just situationally see everything they can encounter off live pitching 100%. In a controlled setting, and then yeah, like it's so simple, but like because it's so structured, you're able to quickly gather all this info and this data. And then it's just like, all right, here we go. Here's, the 5 things that's going on. That's just obviously clear from all these different situations. And now it's time to attack.
Yeah. And when they're mishitting balls in a certain location or a certain drill, I know exactly, typically 99% of what's happening or what's going wrong. I say what's going wrong in the car vehicle. I know exactly what sensor is going to pop up. So now I know exactly what drill to incorporate next to fix that little mishap that they're going on. And now we can go back. Now, once they fix that, typical baseball swing, something else starts to break down. Now we figure out how to adjust from there and now fix that little thing that we got to do and just keep on building with reps.
All right. Quinn, you want to take over from Quick Pitch?
No, you were going to say something cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. So yesterday I woke up, organizational MLB hitting coach called me. He said, dude, front office is asking about you. We want to give you an interview process. I just want to give you a little bit heads up what's going to happen. So we talked a little bit. I don't want to say what organization. I don't want to ruin anything. But I'm really excited. Hopefully I can get some things working. But when you're going through the interview process with any major league team, whatever, they ask for a resume. So I send in my resume. I'm only 24, so what do I have in my resume? Not much. So what do? I'm a smart ass. What do? I send in my development plan that I created for 4 different type hitters that you might run into in the minor leagues. And I hope that sets me up for another phone call, hopefully it opens some eyes instead of just being a regular resume. I include that with my resume. And I think that's more important than my basic resume. I think that's worth so much more. Who cares what college I went to? Who cares what years I played? You can see that developmental plan, the 3-page plan I made up, and I've sent it to 6 different organizations, and they all said, dude, this is awesome. We need you to expand on it more. Let's make a video. Let's do something more and progress. But it's going very well. I'm very excited. It's similar to what I just explained to you guys, but obviously more in depth. It's more of like a 2-week process of 4 different hitters instead of just one. Mm-hmm. But I'm really excited about it. I protect that plan ungodly right now. I love it.
That's awesome.
That's so much better than a resume.
I know, right? I was like, sometimes I don't even want to send in my resume. I'll just send in that developmental plan. Who cares? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Ask for my resume? No, I'll just send that thing again.
I mean, ultimately, that's really what matters. That's why they want to talk to you.
That's all that matters. Yeah. They don't care what GPA I had in high school. I don't even care what GPA I had.
That you were a lifeguard.
Yeah. No.
I mean, jobs don't even care anymore. I don't even think I've gotten
like Gary Vee says. Like, I listened to a podcast with him the other day. He said he interviews people. Obviously, he's got one of the best businesses in America. Mm-hmm. He said he hasn't looked he hasn't called a reference in 2 years. He doesn't even know what colleges his employees go to because it just doesn't matter. It matters what results you produce. It's all that matters.
Right.
Same.
Right.
A really smart kid could be at a junior college in Florida. A really dumb kid could be at Stanford and not produce anything. I'm going to take the kid that actually produces. I don't care if you got the associates at a no-name school in Florida. He produces. He executes. That's all I care about.
So true. Yeah,
this is kind of off topic, but I just love that Gary Vee just goes to garage sales as a billionaire and
Savage.
Haggles down.
He literally haggles prices. Yes.
Yeah.
It's $60. I'll give you 30, 40. Maybe. And he ends up making like $800.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just keeps him
ridiculous.
Humble. Yeah, and he shows up in a Range Rover. Hey, let me buy these Hot Wheels.
Future New York Jets owner.
Yep,
just going to garage sales.
Yep.
Conning dudes. All right. This has been an incredible interview thus far.
I really appreciate that.
You are a rapid fire type of dude. That's what Dugout Therapy is looking for.
Let's do it.
This is Quick Pitch. Number 1, what is your favorite baseball movie? I'm sure this is going to be a contentious segment.
Sandlot, Major League.
Wow.
Okay.
Those are the right answers.
Then on a Saturday night, maybe a little bench warmers. You never know.
Bench warmers.
There you go.
Field of Dreams is good. Sometimes it gets a little bit boring for me. What else? What else we got?
Bad News Bears, baby.
Bad News Bears. The Rookie is really good with that old guy.
Yes.
I like that.
I was
Rookie of the Year is
literally
decent.
thinking about that movie
Rookie.
today.
Yeah.
So good.
You know what I want? I want you ever seen White Man Can't Jump?
Of course.
I want a White Man Can't Jump version of baseball. That would be sick. A white dude just jumps on the scene, just hustling people.
That's kind of the Rookie.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
a science
old dude.
teacher.
Yep,
He's playing for the
100%.
Tampa Rays.
I think that's why I like it. Yep.
That's great.
The Sandlot. I grew up on Sandlot. I had the VHS tape. I ruined the whole tape. I need another one. Sorry, Mom. That and Lion King. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you guys' favorite movies?
Mine's actually Sandlot. We got a weird one last week though. Who was? Oh yeah.
Paul DeBellis.
Paul said Fever Pitch. I mean, I guess it's not a weird one, but I just didn't expect it.
That's kind of a weird one.
Have you
I
ever
like it though.
Wait, is that the dude in the Cape Cod? Is that the dude pitching the Cape Cod?
It's a summer catch.
That one's really
That's a
good.
great one.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh, Fever
With,
Pitch.
Jessica
Red
Biel.
Sox. Oh my God, that's why I like it.
Yes.
My bad. No, that one's really good. So, Fever Pitch is the Red Sox guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave, what's your favorite? You stayed silent. in
No,
this
no.
little segment.
It's because he stole it from me. Mine actually is the Sandlot.
Sandlot, Major League.
Okay.
And bench warmers.
Yeah.
But,
Bad News Bears for me.
Benchwarmers. I feel like I've seen that movie so many times that I've now don't like it. But when I first saw it, I loved it. I don't know.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah,
yes.
it's hilarious.
That was the hot ticket at Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next one for you here. What's the biggest lesson you have learned from baseball?
Being humble, because if once you get on your high horse just a little bit, you get knocked back off real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go to bed. You have to go to the restaurant with your family after a 2-game series on a doubleheader, feeling like crap again because you thought you were so high up there, being the 3-4 hitter. Now you just went 1 for 7 because you thought you were so good and you thought you were launching bombs in BP because you're so good. You need to go back to your roots and be good at what got you there. You need to stick to what got you there and don't try to be too much. My biggest thing is what Manny Ramirez said. Once you ask yourself to tap in a little bit more too much of what actually got you there and what gets you good, you might ruin all the good you just produced.
I love that.
Stay humble. Be good at what got you there. Don't ask for too much.
Couldn't agree more. I love that. Okay, last one for you here. What's the biggest tip you could give a new high school coach trying to impact his program?
Hit line drives. If you don't know how to teach hitting line drives, find someone who does. I was at a high school and they taught hit ground balls and they're winning. But once you get into playoffs, when there's really good teams that field ground balls and don't make errors, you're done. You can't score because you're banking on people making errors. But they can't make errors when the balls are over their head and they have to go chase them. Hit line drives, throw the ball hard, throw some strikes. Be really good in practice that it makes it super easy in games. Don't just lollygag in practice. Make practices hard so games seem easy.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think that's also kind of part of what we're trying to build with our brand, like give coaches great resources so that they can make practice challenging with whatever tools they're using, whatever practice plans they're building. So I think that's so important because I've gone through so many teams or played on so many teams where it's just, it's the same day in, day out, and eventually you just start regressing because you don't have that challenge.
Make sure practice is fun, making sure it's not stagnant and boring. I was at a school doing practice the other day, Division I school, and they said, man, stuff just gets boring because we looked at the practice plan and every single day is the same thing. Like we don't feel like we're getting better because we're not being challenged. We want different environments every day. So our brain has to think we have to adjust every day. And we're not just robots every day doing just the basic stuff like basic ground balls. Put some machines out there, make it tough so everything else seems super easy. and make it hard on them so the players actually have to challenge themselves and maybe compete with other people. I think competition's huge with athletes. During my training sessions, I typically do 2 or 3 hitters at one time just because I love the competition. All right, let's see how many times you can hit that target in right center, or how many times can you hit the pitcher's head off. Compete with each other. Loser has to pick up the balls. You better get better quick, or else you're going to be really good at picking up balls.
I love that. Well, awesome. I mean, I think there's just been countless knowledge dropped in this episode, Trey. We really appreciate you being on with us. I can't wait for our listeners to hear everything. But before we go, could you just tell our listeners maybe a place they can find out a little bit more about you, your Twitter and stuff like that?
No, for sure. I try to keep it super basic on my Twitter. TJ Hannam 10 on Twitter and Instagram, same handle. If you listen to this podcast, please come slide my DMs, say a couple things you learn, and let's talk a little bit. I love talking to different people. Tweet at me, I don't care. Troll me, I don't care. Let's do it.
Be careful what you wish for, bro.
I know, right? I actually posted on Instagram the other day. I said, this morning I posted a tweet, and I knew it would ruffle some feathers. I knew what would happen. I wanted to see what would happen, and it definitely happened. That's why I don't tweet things like that. I try to use most basic language so people aren't like fighting like the old heads and like the bunning guys, and like, I don't want to say, but like I try to keep it super basic so the dads from Ohio that teach their 10-year-old can understand and break things down for him, but also the minor leaguer in AAA who's struggling. He's not getting some analytical BS. He can actually understand it and go figure it out on his own instead of guessing and have to use a freaking dictionary when he's trying to read about hitting. Jesus.
So true. There's a lot of guys like that are just like button heads for the sake of button heads because they don't.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
There's no time.
If you're worried about retweets and likes, then you just lost before you even started, before you even woke up that day. Right? It's all about getting hitters better. That's all I care about.
I love that, Trey. And with that, I think we'll have that as your sign off.
Let's do it. I'm all in on that one. Let's do it. Hey, next week, round 2, part 2, I'm in.
Hey, we're going to have to get you on again for sure.
Hey, we are so cool. Friday night, 7 p.m. We're just chilling on podcast. I don't care. Let's do it.
Hey, when we get the hitting round table together, I'll definitely have you on there. We have a couple of guys that want to do one, so I think
I'm in. Every single episode, I'm in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
wow.
I'm sorry. Hey, you do have to put a word count on me.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to Dugout Therapy. Just finished up a really good episode with Trey Hannam, hitting consultant, online hitting instructor. Has just had tremendous success with his program and developing some really cool new products, the SwayTee, half bat, and some other stuff he's working on with his app. So just a really great episode, has a lot of knowledge on how to just break down high-level swings and how to, relay that to your players, how to coach in a simple way, but also help them to understand high-level movements. So really enjoyed speaking with him, and thank you guys so much for listening. We just asked that, if you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts at Dugout Therapy. Take a minute or two and leave us just a review on iTunes. We'd greatly appreciate it. If it's good, bad, or indifferent, we would love to hear from you to keep improving, getting better every day. And stay tuned for the next episode coming out next week with another partner brand of ours, Always Grind 365. Really looking forward to that one. But stay tuned.